podium now is our defensive coordinator, Mark Snyder.
So defensive line, was that better than you had expected, or was it just kind of like what you had been seeing in practice?
Well, you never know till you get to the first game. Transitioning from a 3-4 to a 4-3, I've got to give Coach Sumlin a lot of credit for that. I mean, the way we practiced half line, inside drill, going good on good, I think it showed Saturday in the stadium.
Do a lot of good on good?
Oh yes, ma'am. Yeah, we have 2 SEC periods every day, and I think it translated as you watch the film. We more than held our own up front against Florida.
As part of that, can you talk about the play of Julian OBO and just kind of for his first game as a true freshman, how he did?
He did good. He did well. I'm glad it's behind us. Going in, the scrimmages that we had in Kyle Field, what we saw on the practice field is not what we saw when we got into Kyle Field in those scrimmages. And he kind of was not the same player, if you will. And I thought Saturday he came to, and I thought he played pretty well. And hopefully we're over that hump with him now.
When did y'all decide to start him? Because I don't think he was on the depth chart as a starter last week.
Last week, you know what, man? I'm not sure. In my mind, he was starting. So, since 3 weeks ago.
Can you talk about John Stewart, 17 time? I guess that's what you want your middle linebacker to do.
Well, I mean, that's what this system's about. Jonathan played well. He knows he can play better. We got to press the line. And he knows it. We got to press the line of scrimmage a lot better than we did. And again, it's his first game in this system. But that's what expected of that guy. I mean, that position, that Mike and that Will in our system makes a lot of plays if the D-line does their job, which they did. I thought Stu played well. He knows. I'm not speaking out of turn. He's got to press the line of scrimmage more. I mean, the long run by Gillespie, we got 2 unblocked linebackers, and we're not pressing the line of scrimmage. So those things are all correctable. That's what's good about it.
Demontre converting from linebacker, is he doing what he's meant to do, which is chasing the quarterback?
I don't think there's any doubt about it. I mean, you guys saw how he produced Saturday, and when we got in here, I mean, he's your prototypical rush, what we call him in our system. He's that guy that gets that one-on-one with the tackle, and now I'm sure teams will start chipping him with the back and things of that nature. But, I think you guys saw Saturday that Demontre's right where he belongs, and if he has a chance to play at the next level, he's going to be playing that position.
What's your approach to dealing with the penalties?
Well, they were aggressive penalties on our side of the ball. I got to be careful there. PIs and face mask, I think it goes back more to tackling, not being in position to tackle when you get a face mask penalty. I mean, we cut down the offsides, the late hits, the silly penalties we got rid of. Ours were face mask penalties that are aggressive penalties. We do address them. We have a little penalty, but I need to be careful because I can handle an aggressive penalty. I can't handle the stupid penalties. And we really didn't have a bunch of stupid penalties. We're not in position to tackle. That's why we had the face mask penalties that we had.
So aggressive, face mask penalties aren't stupid penalties.
Well, they are, but it's more of a physical act. It's not jumping off sides, not looking at the ball, hitting a defenseless player out of bounds, late hit on the quarterback, those kind of things. At times face mask and PIs, those are aggressive penalties that you're trying to make a tackle or go after the ball. I think you have to be careful there. Now, if it becomes a consistent problem, now we got a problem. But I go back, when I look at all of them, we're not in position to tackle. We're reaching. We're not coming to balance. And, again, I think those things can be corrected.
How do you become a defense that forces turnovers? I mean, you talked about that a little bit after the game. How do you take that next step?
Well, we got to take the ball away. And Coach Sumlin showed him yesterday in the meeting 3 or 4 times where the quarterback's out in the open and we're tackling from behind. He don't know you're there. We got to get the ball out. I got to credit Florida. I got to be honest with you. They went in and told Driscoll, do not turn the football over, and he didn't. That's why we had 8 sacks, in my opinion. He was not going to force the ball. And I thought the running backs did a great job of protecting the football.
What's your stressing? What are you stressing to your young corners this week?
Tackling. Tackling. And again, they're a little fragile because they're young, and it'll come. And we got the right secondary coach. I mean, Marshall Yates will get that done. I promise you. I've seen his DBs tackle at Boise. He will get that done. Again, it was the first game, and it's not like we were playing junk. I mean, we're playing some pretty talented guys out there. So it was a good first test for those guys.
But now you're going to play SMU, more of a spread.
Mm-hmm.
You're not going to be like Florida.
Right.
How is it how difficult is it to go from that kind of transition from Florida's offense to SMU's offense?
I hope not much. I mean, if you want to be good, you're going to have to run the gamut. You're going to face option. You're going to face spread. You're going to face power. That's what the great teams I've been around have been able to handle. And we got to make sure we can handle that. I mean, again, the way we practice, when we go against Coach Kingsbury at practice, it's fast-paced, wide open. And then Coach Sumlin brings the ones down, and we do big boy football. So the transition, I hope, isn't bad.
Did you get enough on film from the Stephen and Boston game with SMU because they had short fields or 4 touchdowns, I think, that were non-offensive?
Well, I mean, I've coached against June twice now. When I was at Marshall, I mean, June does what he does. I mean, he's been doing this for a lot of years. He can scratch where he itches. He's not going to change. So it is kind of what it is.
Montre said he played 61 games, Coach. Did anyone else play 61 plays? 61 plays.
I have to go back and look at that. Our big concern, not our concern, our big thing to DeMontre was he's been a spot player, and he produced as a spot player. Time to grow up. Put your hand in the dirt, stop the run, rush the quarterback, and you got to go to play for 60 to 80 plays, whatever it requires. And you know what? He did that. Very, very proud of him.
How much have you seen him grow up and mature? I mean, the kid just turned 20 today.
Correct. Is today his birthday?
Yeah.
Oh, awesome. Okay. We'll get him after practice. That's good info.
But just 20. I mean, he's really like a sophomore.
Yeah, he is. He's a baby. There's no doubt about it. And there's a maturation process that has to happen. It'll continue to happen. But I see a more business-like approach out of him since the first day we got here of spring ball to now. There's a little bit more of a business approach at practice.
Because he's one of those he's very aggressive on the field.
He is very aggressive. Yes, he is.
I mean, and I asked him, coaches ask you to tone it down? I guess that was probably not the right word. But, I mean, do you ever go to a player who's too aggressive and say?
It can hurt you. I would rather have a dog that bites than have to teach one to bite. I'd rather have to slow him down. And a couple times Saturday, his aggressiveness, when the quarterback took off with that was kind of his play. But as long as he's making plays, I got to live with some of that.
I think Coach someone said Obio was one of those guys who came out this week, and you could just see it in his eyes that now he's got a better understanding. For a lot of those young guys, how big is just having that game? It was. I
mean, you saw it yesterday. We went out and practiced a little bit, not a ton. DeShazier, Harris, Julian, a bunch of those guys. It was like, the world's been lifted off of them, and they went out and practiced really well yesterday. I was watching that from the sideline, and there's no doubt that it's there.
Did you blitz much Saturday?
Yes, ma'am.
What's a lot of blitzes for you?
Well, we blitz 37% of the time. That's quite high if you look across the norm across the country. Hopefully don't have to be that aggressive every week. But yeah, it was a little bit high.
What about what you've seen from Gary Gilbert so far when you guys are looking at tape of SMU?
Well, I don't know much about him. I hear he's a really, really good player. He's played. He'll get better each week in this system. I don't think there's any doubt about that. June's system is a good system, and it looks like he's the kind of guy he likes to have controlling that. So, I can't speak to that a lot because I haven't been here in the state of Texas.
Coach, what do you think of the combination of Neely and Ennis on the inside? You're big and you're not so big.
I thought they did really well. We got to get Kirby going a little bit in the pass part of it. But I thought he was our run stopper. He was our clog in the middle, and I thought Spence played extremely well. He held up. That was my big concern. Could he hold up on the double teams, and he did that. And he was productive to boot.
Did you blitz a time because of Driscoll was making – he's so young?
Yeah, there was some reasoning in there, yes, ma'am. I told you guys I was really worried about the play-action bomb. The way you take that away is get after that quarterback on certain down and distances that they would do the play action, and they probably had 6 tries at it, and we were fortunate enough to get home, and that's why we didn't give up the big plays like we talked about. We gave up one explosive. It was a big one. I thought it turned the game. It was a big one, but we only gave up one explosive on the cross-country route there in the fourth quarter.
What's your definition of explosive? Is it 12 and 16?
20 yards or more.
20 on any play?
Yeah, 15 on the run, 20 on the pass.
covered for Coach Snyder?
We're good? All right, thank you, gang.